We have a 2014 Honda Accord here. Customer brought it in, said she was hearing a bit of a noise. We went ahead and took a look at it. It's a 2014 Honda Accord. It's got 119,300 roughly miles on it. Right. 2.4 liter Earth Dreams 4-cylinder Honda. Normally a very, very, very reliable engine. You know, it's a Honda, and it's a Honda 4-cylinder. Just don't have issues. We got the car in, went ahead and checked the oil, checked the other fluids, everything was well and good. Fired it up, was listening to it. It's got a rod knock. Did a little bit of investigating, found out that the number 2 cylinder has got a bad rod. When we were inspecting the vehicle, we found that the rear main seal actually had started to leak. Now, the customer gave this car to her son to drive. She's owned it since new. She gave it to her son to drive. Apparently, the rear main seal developed, the leak developed. Crazy thing is it's blowing the oil down along underneath the vehicle. And so he didn't really see any major oil puddles on the driveway. So it started to leak fairly profusely, but it was blowing along the undercarriage and really not leaving anything more than maybe a couple of little drops. Nothing that you would think from a major rear main seal leak. So it was leaking there. It's also leaking from the valve cover gasket a little bit and the timing cover. This particular engine, for not really being abused, Honda's quality, this one really seems to kind of have some issues. But the rear main is what caused the problem. The son didn't realize that the vehicle had run out of oil. The customer drove it, she got in it, fired it up. It ran for a few minutes and then started to knock. She shut it off, came out and immediately checked the motor oil, and there was nothing on the dipstick, nothing at all. So they put some oil in the car, a couple quarts of oil, fired it back up. Of course, the noise didn't stop. At that point, it was already done. One of the interesting things about this, we're actually going to put a used motor in it for. I found a JDM engine, actually, from Japan, JDM motor. Crazy thing about the American market, you cannot find these engines remanufactured. They do not build them. I checked with Jasper, I checked with Powertrain Products, I checked with just about every engine manufacturer as far as a rebuilder that I could find. Nobody builds this engine, so we had to go used. And the crazy thing about the American market is every engine has high miles. You find these in the salvage yards, you know, 130, 140, 160, 210, 212, 220, and they want a lot of money for them. This particular engine was JDM, and after doing some considerable looking, I found this engine. This one only has 66,000 miles on it. So about half of what's on the current engine. We're gonna go ahead and be replacing this, putting this in. We'll go through, check all of the gaskets, make sure that everything is well and good. We'll replace the rear main seal just as a precaution. If this is an issue, we're gonna double check and make sure that we don't have any issues with the valve cover gaskets if we need to replace those as well. We'll really thoroughly look this over, but we're gonna be swapping this in to this car. When you guys do this kind of job, all right, a couple of things you want to do before you ever go crazy with the car. You want to code scan it before you ever start working on it. There could be codes in this system for exhaust, catalytic converter, other systems, transmission problems. You want to document all of that before you start working on this, especially a major repair, because anything new could be created by the repair, bad ground, something like that. So you want to document what was in the car when it got here. Now you can discount any misfire codes or things associated with a knocking rod or a bad engine, but ultimately things, transmission, exhaust, things like that, that may be previously existing, you want to document that before you put in an engine. Once we do this work, we're going to own every code. So if we don't document it before we install the engine, potentially we could be doing a lot of other work without effectively being paid for it, because then it's, you know,
you own it.
We own it.
Yeah.
That's it, brother. The other thing you want to do, guys, and this is just me, I've been doing this a long time, but anytime before you touch anything under the hood of this car, anything at all, Okay. We already know we've got a weak battery. We're going to have to get that either on the charger and see if we can rejuvenate it or replaced. But before we touch anything under the hood of this car, guys, we want to go through and take many detailed pictures as we can. The all the way overall condition of the engine that's in the vehicle. Document the leaks you had already seen. They are going to be on your inspection. But before you start to take things apart, you want to look at cable routing. How do these cables run? Which hoses am I going to have to disconnect? This particular car is a cradle drop. So what will happen, guys, is we're going to separate everything that goes to the frame body of the car from the engine, transmission, and cradle module. So hoses that go up into the firewall are going to need to be separated down to the engine. All wiring, fuse box, PCM wiring, wiring harness that is coming over and is attached to the body or going up into the firewall has to be separated from this engine transmission module. If you can take it loose from the fuse box or PCM here, lay it over on the engine, so when you're doing your transfer, you're doing an entire wiring harness, then you're good. Otherwise, if it is tied predominantly to the frame body of the car, PCM, you're going to end up removing the sensors from the engine and setting everything over here before you drop this module out of the bottom. So when we're done, we're going to separate everything all the way across this, and ultimately what will happen is we'll take it loose, we will lift the car body up, our transmission and engine are going to stay on the ground as a married unit sitting on the cradle. Once that happens, then we can separate the engine from the transmission, check our mounts, make sure everything is good, go back together with the, new or used engine that we're replacing this one with. Be very mindful, guys. Like I said, take these photos, take pictures of every wiring harness, okay? Get in close, all right? Detailed. You want to see where the vacuum hoses go. You want to see where there's any fuel lines. How did they run? What do we need to do anything with the brake master cylinder or are there any other plumbing, wiring, exhaust, okay, any of that that's got to come off. But we want to take a picture. We want to note any missing or damaged fasteners. Definitely, like I said, the wiring, guys, the routing. Nothing is more frustrating than getting this new engine put in. We put our cradle back in, we're working along, everything looks good, all of our parts are going together, and all of a sudden you find a random hose back here, something over here, and you go, man, where did that go? You're looking all over for it. Take good photographs, guys, detailed pictures. Every hose that goes to the firewall, every hose that goes to the engine, the wiring routing. As you take parts off this car, we're going to remove the air box, we're going to remove the battery tray, we're going to look at our wiring. As we do those steps, we're going to expose more things we should take photos of. Everything is layered, guys. So I can't necessarily see what's under the cover here for the high pressure fuel pump right now. I can't see what the wiring looks like under the air box, PCM. As you disassemble parts of this car, take more photos, guys. If I could stress anything, that's it. Do a good code scan prior to pulling the engine. Make sure you document and print that. As you pull parts, take photos. Take photos before, as you disassemble. Everything is layered, like I said, so your photographs will become a layered way for you, a visual marker, to put everything back together. Take as many photos as you can, guys. Don't just snap a few. Now, if you've done this job 50 times, you're probably good to go. But if it's not something you do every day, take as many photos as you can.
Better to be safe.
Yeah, definitely, man. No. So that's where we're at, man. At this one, the AC is going to have to be evacuated. We definitely know that, so we're going to have to get that evacuated. We're going to get this battery out. We're going to put it on the, we've got a rejuvenator, a battery charger that is actually a desulfator. So we're going to see if we can save the battery for her. Don't want to incur any extra cost if we don't have to. We'll start getting everything apart and, in stages, continue to take our photographs. One of the things we did for this customer, because it needs this engine and some other major work, it also needed brakes. We went ahead and we're going to go ahead and take care of her brakes for her at the same time. So we're going to get all that done for her. We gave her a good deal on taking care of the brakes and engine all at the same time for her. So we've got a lot of work to do on this one. It's probably going to be a couple days worth of work, just depending, but that's the plan, guys. That's the next steps. We're going to start disassembling. We will bring you along for the process as we go stage by stage. So.
As much as we can. We'll try to detail it. Got to do some work too.
Yep, that's it. So.
All right, we'll be back.
All right.